Hello, I'm the Shino Duelist and welcome to my Going Second Gren Maju deck profile. In this video, I will go over the basics of the deck list, and my reasoning for playing certain cards. Also, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, and if you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe. Now, let's get into it. We're going to start off with 3 Gren Maju Da Eisa. He gains 400 attack for each banished card that you have. So that means if you have 10 banished cards, he'll have 4,000 attack, 20 banished cards, 8,000, so on and so forth. He synergizes very well with Pot of Desires and Golden Castle of Stromberg. Up next, we have 3 Eater of Millions. This card can summon itself from the hand by banishing cards from your extra deck, hand, or field, 5 or more. And he gains attack equal to how many face-down banished cards there are, including your opponent's. When he attacks a monster, he can banish that monster once per turn. He's very good spot removal. He adds a body to the field. He also can't be tributed or used for any sort of link, fusion, any summon, more or less. So he's just a body. He can't be kaiju, which is an interesting little thing. Great card. Synergizes very well with Gren Maju. Up next, we have part of the Golden Castle of Stromberg core, which is 2 Hextrude and 1 Glyph, the Phantom Bird. Glyph is a free search for the Golden Castle of Stromberg. We already run Terraforming, so we don't need to run too many of these. Also, he can pop a spell or trap when he's summoned. Pretty good card in its own right. Then we have Hextrude, which is usually summoned through Golden Castle Stromberg. She can pop a card on the field, any card, and if she does, she can attack twice on monsters. When she kills a monster, she can have a monster on the field gain 400 attack, whether that's her or another monster. So she's very good at beating over things and clearing fields, and that's all off of the field spell. Next, since this is a Going Second deck, we run 3 Dinowrestler Pankratops. He's a Cyber Dragon, but better. He can pop things and has 2,600 attack. Great for Going Second. Next, we have the Kaiju package. I generally run a smaller package. You can run 3 Gamma Seal if you want. I like to mix it up a little bit, have some variants to it. You can run some higher ones. I usually try to give myself GZ Kiru off of Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, but sometimes you banish it using Pot of Desires, things like that. Next we have 1 Necroface, and I'm considering cutting this card a little bit. It used to be better with Gold Sarcophagus at higher numbers, but with it only at 1, that combo is a little harder to get to. But when it's summoned, when it's normal summoned, you can return all banished cards to the deck, and it gains 100 attack for each card that is sent. That doesn't include extra deck monsters, by the way. It's only cards that are returned to the main deck that it gains attack for. When it's banished, you can banish 5 cards from, or you have to banish 5 cards from your deck and your opponent's deck, face up. So it's a good card to have. I usually run 1 in most of my banished decks, so it's in there. Next, I run 2 Battle Fader. This deck has some issues because you want the deck to be larger than 40 cards because you banish so much and you can end up getting close to decking out. But sometimes you won't hit those cards right away, and you need to wait a turn or two to amass either your banished cards with Golden Castle Stromberg. A lot of times that just, it happens in the next standby phase. So you have to wait until that happens, so you want to be able to protect yourself. I like Battle Faders. That's how I do it. Next, I run 3 Ash Blossom. And if you really want to mess with people, run 1 of each rarity just to get on their nerves. Really, this is a Going Second deck. You need hand traps to get through the first turn to stop your opponent so they don't make too crazy of a board. Next, we have 2 Infinite Permanents. I've only got 1 right now, so that's why I'm running Effect Veiler. It's more or less the same thing, but not quite as good. Next we have Ghost, Ogre, and Snow Rabbit. It's surprisingly good against a lot of cards in this format. If you can hit some of the Salamangreat starter cards when they play, it can really impede them from going off. And a few other cards as well. Field spells that need to be stopped, like the Trickstar one. Just general things. You can run other things. Droll and Lockport's not a bad choice. Ghost Spell. If you have them, Phantasme is a great card. I don't have them. I don't have $100 to put onto a few of those torture cards. I'll wait for a reprint. Next we have 3 Pot of Desires. It's a fantastic combo piece to go with your Gren Maju. It lets you +2 while making all of your monsters stronger, or at least the important ones. Next we have 3 Pot of Duality. This card is based off of Gren Maju, which generally you get on the field just by normal summoning. This lets you normal summon, not special. Be careful of using it and then trying to use Golden Castle of Stromberg to summon from deck. You can't do that. Other than that, it's just great consistency to let you build up into your plays. Next, the 3 Golden Castle of Stromberg and 2 Terraforming. This card does a ton for the deck. By itself, it lets you summon out a monster, usually Hextrue, that can pop any card and can attack twice and boost monster's attack. That's pretty good on its own. Besides that, it banishes 10 cards in the standby phase as cost, and that's really hard for your opponent to get rid of unless they get the card off the field. Even if it's negated, you still have to pay that cost. And it also has a attack protection effect where if your monster if one of your opponent's monsters attacks you, it is destroyed and they take half of that monster's attack as damage. That is not once per turn. That is any time you are attacked, and that's not attack on your monsters. That's just in general. And it's a pretty good effect to just stop your opponent from being able to run you over while you're trying to build up your plays. Now, if they get rid of the field spell, then that's that, but you have other ways to protect yourself. Run 1 Gold Sarcophagus. It's a staple in these types of decks, and it searches out a card. You can also search Necroface, and it'll banish 5 off the top of your deck and your opponent's. 2 Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. You're running a pretty big Kaiju engine. This is a board nuke that summons monsters for you and searches a Kaiju when you banish it from the graveyard. Defissure, Macrocosmos, great cards in a banish deck, and you could side these if you want to, in case you're into things like Thunder Dragons, or if you know that's going to be a thing you might have to face. I like them in the main just because they're still really good cards, and it's not too bad into those matchups actually. Yes, the Thunder Dragons will still get their effects, but they won't be in the graveyard for their big monsters to protect themselves from destruction. So it's not even that bad against them. Next up we have 3 Evenly Matched. This is a going second deck. This is a going second card. It banishes. What's more to say? And lastly, 3 Threatening War. Sometimes this deck takes a little bit to get rolling. This will help you get there. A lot of times you can just set it. Your opponent will try to blow it up or do something. You can just chain it, and then your opponent can't attack anyways. So it kind of follows the same mentality as the Battle Fader. Overall, this is a 50-card deck. A little bigger than usual because you banish a lot and can run through your deck pretty quickly if you're banishing 10 every standby phase. So I like to have a little more cards than usual. So that's where the Battle Faders or the Threatening Wars kind of come into play. And that's it for the main deck. The extra deck is literally just 15 Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries targets. You banish a lot of your extra deck anyways when you're using Eater of Millions. And the deck doesn't really have a whole lot of spam potential or extra, and doesn't really need the extra deck anyways. The side deck is Ghost Reapers and Winter Cherries. Generally things like Twin Twisters, Heavy Storm Duster. I've been running Closed Forest to stop Mystic Mine recently. Denko Sekka, Inspector Border, things like that. Honestly, sideboard can be pretty much whatever you need for your current tournament, whether that's locals or regionals, YCS if you feel like taking this type of deck there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you liked the video, feel free to hit the like button. And if you want to see more content like this, please subscribe. And feel free to let me know in the comments what you think of the deck, any changes you'd make, if you liked any of my specific texts and choices. And I'll see you next time.